One evening, you glance at the sky expecting that gentle lunar glow, and it's gone. That familiar circle of light has simply vanished. Darkness feels bigger, more unsettling, as though something vital has slipped away. Welcome to Explain Like I'm 5, where we take mind-bending topics and break them down into fun, easy-to-understand stories. Ready to get curious? Let's dive in. You might think the moon is just a pretty ornament floating around Earth, but it's much more than that. According to most scientists, the moon formed billions of years ago when a giant space object collided with our young planet. Debris from that impact clumped into a ball, and ever since the moon has orbited us in a cosmic dance led by gravity. This dance affects everything from our oceans to our seasons. If the moon suddenly disappeared, our first clue would be those darker nights. Without that comforting silver glow, the world would feel strangely empty. For humans, maybe it's just a missed photo op or a less magical stroll under the stars, but for wildlife, this is a huge problem. Baby sea turtles, for example, hatch on beaches and use moonlight to guide themselves to the water. No moonlight means many could wander in the wrong direction and into danger. Owls, wolves, and other nocturnal creatures also rely on lunar brightness to navigate or time their hunts. Entire ecosystems would have to adapt quickly, something nature isn't great at doing overnight. Next on the list, tides. If you've ever played at the beach, you've felt the tug of the waves. Those high and low tides happen mostly because of the moon's gravitational pull on Earth's waters. The sun also tugs at our oceans, but not as strongly. Remove the moon, and our tides would shrink dramatically. Creatures that depend on tidal patterns, like certain crabs and shellfish, would face tough times. Their breeding or feeding schedules are tied to these rhythmic water levels, and without the usual rise and fall, many of them might struggle to survive. Coastal humans who rely on the sea for food, travel, or tidal energy would also see big changes. Another major effect takes longer to notice but is massive in scope: Earth's wobble. Right now, the moon helps keep our planet's axis steady, much like a training wheel on a bike. That stable tilt gives us predictable seasons. Without the moon's stabilizing influence, Earth's tilt could swing wildly over thousands of years. Some places might be stuck in endless winter, while others could roast under constant sunlight. Entire ecosystems would have to scramble to cope with drastic changes in temperature and weather patterns. Farming as we know it might need to change drastically, and we'd need new ways to handle extreme climates. Then there's the impact on space exploration. The moon is our closest stepping stone to the rest of the solar system. Landing on its surface and studying it has helped us practice for more ambitious voyages, like missions to Mars. It's also a treasure trove of information, offering clues about how planets form and evolve. If the moon vanished, we'd lose this invaluable test site. Sure, other moons exist around other planets, but they're so far away that traveling there is much riskier and more expensive. The moon is like a backyard training ground we'd suddenly be missing. We should also consider culture and history. The moon has enchanted humans for millennia, showing up in myths, legends, poems, and songs across every civilization. We celebrate full moon festivals, track lunar calendars, and wax poetic about moonlight. Removing the moon would be like taking away a beloved character from the greatest story ever told. We might adapt and invent new traditions, but a giant piece of our shared heritage would vanish along with that silvery orb. So why won't the moon just disappear on its own? Gravity keeps it bound to Earth, and it's slowly drifting away at a rate of a few centimeters per year, which is so slow that billions of people will come and go before it's significantly farther. A sudden disappearance could only happen if something extreme, like a massive collision, blew it apart. In that case, Earth would face other huge problems, like chunks of lunar debris crashing down on it. Even in a magical scenario where the moon winks out without any cosmic bang, we'd still be left to deal with massive ripple effects in our environment. How might humans respond if the moon vanished? We're pretty inventive. Maybe we'd develop advanced technology to compensate for the missing tides or to guide animals that depended on lunar light. Some have even speculated about anchoring Earth's tilt by artificial means, though that leans into science fiction territory. We could create powerful lighting systems along beaches to help baby turtles. Or we might farm fish in artificial habitats if ocean ecosystems collapse. But these fixes wouldn't happen overnight, and the rest of nature might not catch up quickly enough. Over generations, life might adapt to a moon-free Earth. But that adaptation could come with steep consequences, like losing species that can't handle rapid changes in nighttime brightness, tidal patterns, or climate. Humans might build domed cities in regions that become too hot or too cold, or switch to new crops that tolerate extreme weather. We could still thrive, but it would be a vastly different planet, less stable, less predictable, and missing a guiding light that has shaped life for millions of years. If humans ever branch out beyond Earth, say colonizing Mars or living in rotating space stations, we might rely less on the moon. But for Earth-based life, the moon's disappearance would remain a colossal event with permanent effects. Trying to replace the moon with an artificial structure or by capturing an asteroid is a monumental challenge that may never truly replicate the moon's gravitational and cultural roles. In the end, the moon is a silent but powerful player in Earth's story. It stabilizes our seasons, drives our tides, and shines a comforting light at night. Culturally, it's a muse for artists, a compass for travelers, and a symbol of mystery. Remove that glowing companion, and life on Earth would be forced into a radical transformation. The good news is our lunar friend isn't going anywhere fast. Every time you see its bright face in the sky, remember all the subtle ways it supports life below. The moon is more than a distant stone. It's part of Earth's own balancing act, quietly working behind the scenes to keep our world's rhythms in tune. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. See you next time on Explain Like I'm 5.